Hello and welcome back to X-Plane 11 for part 2 of my review of the Just Flight BAE 146 Professional. Thank you very much for joining me in this video, and if you haven't seen part 1, I do highly recommend you go check out part 1, because in part 1 we talk about the specifications, the system specifications you need to run this aircraft, the specifications of the aircraft as well. What does it contain? What features does it have that makes it professional? And of course, does it make that worth the price? We haven't yet managed to answer that question. Of course, so far it is all looking like it is worth the price. £55, by the way. Link in the description box to pick it up from Just Flight if you wish to do so. What I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be starting up the aircraft, and hopefully, depending on how long it takes, I'm going to be taking this aircraft off, and then in the next part I'm going to be doing the remainder of the flight, approach, descent, or descent, approach, landing, and give you my final thoughts as to what this aircraft is like, whether it is worth a purchase, for who this is good for, who would be best suited to purchase an aircraft like this. So if you are interested in that, please make sure you subscribe, please make sure you watch the rest of this video. Just as a disclaimer, I'm not an expert at this aircraft, I'm very used to flying a different aircraft. This is going to be a learning experience for me, so it is going to be rather interesting to see. In a sense, that is pretty good, because it does give me a chance to do this in a way in which maybe everybody else would be doing it. If if you're picking this up and play flight simulators once a week or something like that, then this is ideal for you. Of course, if you are used to flying an aircraft for hours and hours and hours a week, you may find this a little bit easier. Anyway, without further ado, let's roll the intro and get started with starting this aircraft up and seeing what I can make of it. Right, as not to waste any time, I'm going to start immediately with this, and we're going to see what I can do and how quickly I can get to grips with this. Again, this is not going to be a tutorial on how to start the aircraft up. Yes, you can follow this and it will give you a tutorial on how to start it up, but this is not an expert tutorial with every little bit every little bit of detail that maybe you want to go into. This is more so a how quickly can I get to grips with it, how comfortable am I with this, what features work, what features do not work, what is and isn't good in this particular aircraft, and what I feel about the immersion and realism. That is what I'm really looking for here. So we have the checklists on the side. Of course, Just Flight aircraft all come with these checklists, and to get to those checklists you just have to click the click spots here, which with the scroll wheel you can hide. So there you go, there is the checklist. I also have the manual, the 200 and whatnot page manual up, but I shouldn't be referring to it all too much because I think I've got most of this figured out after reading it. So we start with gear down, check. Radar off, so we want to put that off there, check. Transponder in standby, check. Air brake in, check. Flaps up, check. Nav lights need to go on, so we go over to the overhead panel by pressing 8, and we'll go over to nav lights, and we're going to put it onto high intensity, check. Battery on and check, so let's switch that on, and you hear the ding. We're up and running. Gear, we've got down 3 greens, great. Brakes, yellow and park, which is just here. You can just see the Y for yellow, so that is yellow and park. Check. Master switches on. Now the master switches, by that they mean these switches up here. So your damper 1, 2 goes on, autopilot master and avionics master. Not sure why that rang, that was an autopilot disconnect. There we go. Anti-skid and lift spoilers on. There we go. Anti-skid is already on. Bus ties automatic, so that's now down on the electrical panel, so we'll switch those two to automatic. Standby inverter, armed. Standby generator, armed. Gens 1 and 4 check off. Those are currently set to offline, so that's now off and off. APU generator goes on, so that is on. Fire handles in. There we go. ground tests complete now. I'm not going to do all the ground tests. These are the ground tests over here. I think not all of them actually work on the ground. The stall warnings are very loud. I'm just going to do one very quickly. There you go. Also, we've got the APU fire warning, which I believe lights up something down there. There it is. And also, you can check these fire warnings with all the lights that's come up. Overspeed and all of them, I believe, will only work once the aircraft is switched on. There's the extinguisher ones. I believe there's another one that will give us a light up near us. There you go. Rear bay high temperature. And speed warnings do also work. 1 and 2. There we go. Okay, external AC on if required. Well, no, we're not going to be using external power, though we do have external power available. I'm actually going to bring up this and get rid of the GPU and the chocks. There we go. You are gone. So we no longer have external power available. What we are going to do is we are going to connect up the APU. So for the APU, we need to switch on the left inner pump, like so. In fact, what? I'm just trying to figure out, do we need the ground? We shouldn't need a ground power unit to do this. So we'll bring on that pump and then we want to switch APU to start. And that should bring everything up. That will go out, that light will be extinguished, everything will be up and running as we want. So once the APU is up and running, we're going to be doing a test of the MWS, the Master Warning System. Now to do that, what we need to do is we'll have to press this button in here. There we go. No idea why these target gas temperatures have, exhaust temperatures have gone up, the thrust exhaust temperatures. But we'll check that. That does work, as you would expect. And the dings work as well. Awesome. So that's been tested. Whilst we're also waiting for the APU, we'll do an enunciator test. Everything should be up on the enunciator now. Actually, that makes sense because the ambient temperature is about 19 degrees, so that does make sense. That is what it's reading, 18, 19 degrees. I just realised that. There's a flight test for the enunciator. You can see that flickers, which is quite interesting. And we can also do another test up here, and that all looks like it's working absolutely as it should. Cabin emergency lighting, not cab, emergency lighting can go on, which is already armed. No smoking can come on. I'll switch on the logo lights, wing lights. That is already on, so I'm happy with that. Air conditioning as required. We are not going to be worrying too much about air conditioning, although that being said, I probably am just going to switch on the packs and the APU air like that. DC pump test, that's this one up here. Now, I'm not 100% certain how this works because it doesn't seem to do anything, but there we go. That is that. I haven't managed to figure that one out. We can bring these two on, and that does seem to be working. You see the pressure come up on both, so we'll switch that off before we cause any damage. Thrust levers config, check off, so all of them are down at the bottom in off. That is what we want. And then of course this is back off. Continuous ignition needs to go off as well. Make sure that is off. So there we go, that is double check. It says engine anti-ice on. I do not think the engine anti-ice needs to be on, so I'm actually going to leave it off, and the heaters are off, so that's the screen heats and all of them. That is fine. We need to make sure that those are off for this point in time. Wing tail ice protection is off, correct. Engine air is off. Flight deck emergency lights are armed. There we go. Control disc handles in. I haven't worked out what control disc handles in means. I don't know whether it's this. I have no idea whether it's this. I just have no idea what it means by handles in, or is it this? So I'm not sure. Yaw dampers both on. Well, I know we switched on the power to the yaw dampers up here, but to switch on the yaw dampers you have to click this button here, and you can see YD1 or YD2, and there's nothing up on here anymore telling us that we have a problem. That's fine. Autopilot's off. Well, we have confirmed that. We did also have the alarm. Right, before start checklist, safety exterior checks, yes, we've done that. Brakes, we're fine with that, so that's on yellow, and we've got the pressure right there. Thrust levers, fuel off, check. Hydraulics all off. We go back up to the main panel. and we'll go right over to hydraulics. Where are the hydraulics? Hydraulics. Why can I not find the hydraulics? They're here somewhere. There it is. Hydraulics all off, confirmed. Off, yep, that is fine. Fuel panel checked and set. So fuel panel checked and set. What we are looking at, I believe, is where is this? Down here. Yep, we checked those. We're happy with the fuel there, and on top of that, this fuel panel over here, we're happy with what we currently have, and I think that's being on auto is fine. Crossfeed is shut. Standby pumps, we do not have to worry about these pumps just yet. That is a-okay. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to bring these. Oops. I'm going to bring these lights up on the panel. There we go. Gives it a much nicer look. I'm going to do that all around. Not flood lighting, just panel lighting. It just looks a lot nicer with things lit up there, and similarly I'll do the same here, and instrument lighting. There we go. Probably a bit too close on this one, but that's fine. Bring that all the way up, and bring that all the way up. There we go, everything's now looking rather nice. Okay, so that has been checked. Pressurization, let's see. We are probably going to be at how many thousand feet today? Probably no more than 12,000 feet, so that is fine. Sorry, that's not it. Flight altitude. Cabin altitude. No, that's about right. So we're looking for 12,000 feet. There we go. 14, 16, 18, 20. So we're going to be pressurizing to about 1,000 foot of altitude. Nice and simple. Ice Detect is on already. It has a guard with a nice clicky noise. Lights and notices checked. Yeah, everything's up and running. I would like to have... No, that is everything up and running. Air conditioning check and set. It's a little bit cold in there, so I'm just going to up the temperature a little bit. I know this isn't what you'd normally do, but I'm just going to up that temperature just a smidge. There we go. Just up to near 20 degrees. Fasten seatbelt sign needs to be on, or with me flying, that is probably a very, very good idea. Where is the fasten seatbelt sign? Oh, there it is. Job done. I wonder if the screen wash works. Flow meters need to be zeroed, so down here what we need to do is we need to make sure that these are zeroed. They are. That is fine. Fuel contents checked, we've already done that. Flight data recorder set, we can set that on this side. I'm not going to be worrying about that just yet. Nav aids and area now set. I have no idea what exactly it is referring to there, so I'm not entirely sure what I need to do, but I am going to ensure that I have these all set. So that is set to East Midlands, runway 927, both runways. Let's get rid of those. That is set to Daventry. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be flying today from Echo Golf November X-Ray, and we're going to be flying to Echo Golf Lima Lima. We're going to be taking the Daventry 3 November departure, standard instrument departure. We'll try and follow it roughly. We're not using an FMC here, so we're going to be trying to follow it with everything else. Then we're going to be bringing ourselves in for a Bovingdon 4 Charlie approach, and we'll see what we can do with that. So it should be pretty simple, a straightforward flight. This is a flight that I've done a few times before, so I should be okay with it. And once we're down at Bovingdon, we'll just fly over London and bring ourselves in for a landing. So that looks okay to me there. I will probably switch that on. There we go. And set the courses up on this. So for this one, I would like runway heading, which is going to be 271, I believe. So we'll go for 271 for runway heading. For that one, we're going to do 160, which if I bring up this and go over to here, you can see that that is the radial that we're going to be flying into Daventry. For the heading, I am actually going to set up 225. So on the heading bug, I will set up 225 right now. So that's 220, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 225, job done. So what we're planning to do is take off at 1, once the DME reads 1, and I will show you that, so the DME should read 1 nautical mile away from the airport. So we're going to be turning onto heading of 225. Once we get to 7 nautical miles away from the airport, although looking at this, you start turning at 6.5. Once you get to 6.5 nautical miles away from the airport, we're going to be turning in for the 160. We're going to be climbing up to 9,000 feet, or flight level 90, though today it is 9,000 feet because we have standard pressure all the way through. And then once we get to once we're 23 nautical miles away from Daventry, then we will continue our climb up to 12 or 15,000 feet. I think 12,000 feet should be the one that we want to do. That is the plan, and then we will. I unfortunately cannot show you the one going into London because I'm going to be using an old approach which is no longer available on Navigraph, so that is annoying. What I can do though, I could probably give you the initial approach from Bovingdon. So once we're in Bovingdon, or once we reach Bovingdon, we're probably going to be bringing it in like so. That is going to be our approach in, although it depends on what I choose to do. Bringing that in, I might bring it in slightly sharper and then do a circuit, because you get vectored in normally like that. So anyway, that is that. So that's I suppose that's the briefing. We've done everything here. This has been, I don't know whether that's a reset. I'm not sure where the reset is for this, but how do I pull this? No idea. Just check the vibration test thing on there. That is fine. Everything looks okay. Now we need to set up this TMS. This is a thrust management system. A slightly strange autopilot system, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring it up here, so you can just bring it up in front of you instead of going over there. So we set the temperature here, so I'm going to set that to 19. I'm going to switch it on. I'm going to go through a test so you can actually see it going through its entire test. What's it you complaining about now? No idea. I'll set that as checked anyway. So once it's gone through its test, we will start it up and set everything up. So there we go, that's gone through its test. I'm going to hit takeoff now, so you can see here that this is the N1 that we want on takeoff. So I've already got this set, and so you set it up like this, and what this does is that even if you put maximum throttle up, it will only hit N1, so it will go up and then it will come down to match this N1. What we can then do is we can also change it to quite a few different things. So for example, we've got MCT, whatever that is, that's the TGT which we can set up over here, and you can put it into descent, which will give you an N1, and you can have it synchronized and whatnot. I didn't mean to synchronize it at that point in time, so let's just do it like that. So synchronize, we can sync it to different engines and different modes. So I do not know, I'm not 100% sure on how everything works on this. I'm not used to it yet, but this is how I have read it up, and this is how I believe it works. So there we go. So that is set, and I've put the corresponding things in here as well. You'll notice that they are not 100% accurate, but that is okay. Also, apologies for my voice. Another neat thing that we did find last time is that when you change settings of the aircraft, it all comes up over here. So you can see that our VR is 122, V2 is 129. We're going to be doing a flaps 18 takeoff. VFTO, which is I think full thrust, is 170, and That's the I'm not sure what VER is in this case. So we can set that on here, and all we need to do is just drag these little bugs, which is kind of quite neat. So we're looking for 170 and 180. So there's 180, there's 170, which I thought was pretty cool. So now we can go through engine start. As far as I can tell, everything seems okay. So we're going to switch on the beacon. APU, is everything running off the APU? That should be. So we're going to switch on the beacon lights, which is up here. Let's take a quick look outside so you can see what we've got. There you go, beacon lights are now up and running. They look pretty nice. Let's go back inside. That's been set, that is on. Packs and everything need to go off, so we'll switch that off because we are starting from we'll even, I guess, switch the, should we switch the fans off? The fans should be fine for now. Engine anti-ice needs to go on. Again, I do not need engine anti-ice. We are not running that code. This is 19 degrees Celsius outside. AC pumps on, so that's these pumps up here, I believe, need to go on. This is all the hydraulic stuff. So on. I'll switch the DC pump on as well. Fuel pumps all need to go on. So there we go. Fuel pumps are on. Start power needs to be set to normal. So that's this one here. Okay, just quiet. What was that warning for? I'll switch that back on in a moment. That's the one, that's why. Right. What's he warning me about? Okay, we'll figure that one out in a moment. Again, I'm still getting used to this. Start master needs to go on. Now we need to select, so that's in normal. Start master needs to go on. Select an engine, so we're going to do 4, 2, 3, 1, and then we press start over here. Now, just something to be very, very careful about. Not the start up here. That is the APU. Obviously, it's under the APU. It's very easy to do that. So what we're going to do is we click the start under here, just under the start master. And you'll hear a little noise, and you'll see the engine start spooling up. Now, once this gets to about 15 on N1, we want to feed in a little bit of power. So we're going to bring that down, and there we go. That's up, and the engine fires to life. There you go, you can hear the engine coming up. So we're going to do the exact same for all the different engines. So we'll go 4, 2, let's start 2, unlock, wait for that to come up. There it is, and give it fuel flow. It's engine 2 up. We will now look for engine 3, start, unlock, engine 3 coming alive. I can get through all of this now. That's out, it's good, and engine 1. Engine 1 starts us up. Unlock. 12, 13, 14, 15, there we go. And that is it. That is all 4 engines. Well, 3 engines up and 1 engine still coming to life, as you can hear it spooling. Okay, after start checklist. Start power normal, that's fine. This needs to now go off. Anti-ice as required, do not need it. Generators now go on. There we go. Generators on. Be careful, you might need to click this twice because it's a 3-way toggle and it's a little bit difficult to see. Brake fans automatic now. The brake fans are up here, so they're set to automatic, that's fine. Hydraulics on and checked. Here we go. We'll switch that on. That's all the hydraulics on. We should have probably done the engine pumps first. Make sure that's on. Heaters on. So it's going to be these. There we go. Screen heat is probably not required. APU and engine air, yeah, we're going to switch on engine air now and get the packs back on. Push that into recirculation now. That can stay off. TMS as required, so that's this thing down here again. We've set this to TO. We are happy with that. Doors closed, ground equipment removed, transponder as required. So let's go ahead and look at the transponder. 5162 is what we're going to do today. And if I go over here, I already had this set from beforehand, so that is, you can just press that and put in your flight number, so BAW 087. We can also on this side set up the day, month and flight number. I'm not going to do that today. I'm not sure whether this is really important, but that is something else that you can do. Next up, it's just before takeoff, so we're going to close the checklist for now. We're going to use the better pushback, which I've already pre-planned.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
So I've already pre-planned that. I'm going to go ahead and go for start the cockpit.
Tow is driving up.
Right, we're going to start the pushback. You notice there that for a moment it looked like, so when you do that and then do that, sometimes it doesn't load up properly, which is a little bit odd. But as soon as you move the mouse, everything comes back as you would expect. Right. What I need to do now is I need to double check to ensure everything is okay. So we're just going to do a full check here. Everything looks fine. We can even bring our flaps down to 18 right now. There we go, flaps to 18 degrees, or flaps moving to 18 degrees. Have a look at it from the outside. There you go, flaps are moving. What I'll do is I will come up with a camera.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Right, he's now connecting. So let's come up with a decent camera angle so you can see this connection.
Winching strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
Right, parking brake released. And you can see it pulls, the tug pulls the aircraft up onto the, there it goes. Pulls it up onto the tug. And now we're going to go through the pushback itself.
Starting pushback.
There you go. So pushback begins, and there you go, the aircraft is being pushed back as you would expect. So far everything is working really, really well. This is not that hard an aircraft to get used to. I think the things you have to get used to is the fact that it is an older aircraft, so there's a lot more switches, and some of the switches are a little bit dimmer, and there isn't so much in the way of lighting to tell you, to give you these visual indications everywhere. It's just in key places. So once you start this aircraft up, I'd say 3-4 times, we should be completely okay. Now I'm just trying to figure out if there is anything else that I might have forgotten to do. There's the pushback happening. Just going to try and get an even better angle on this. There we go. I could also get a screenshot of that. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. It looks like that's it, he's ready, so we'll jump back on board, and you can see again, it takes a while for the texture to come in.
Brake.
Right, parking brake is set.
Disconnecting
Come on, there we go.
stand by.
I've just noticed that I have been having a little bit of problems with my machine. It's running a little bit warmer than it should for some bizarre reason. I need to try and figure out what it is. Not massively warmer. Right, disconnect our hand signals on the right, I think, for this one. Should be. Right, Right, so what I need to do now is let's bring this transponder up to TAR8. There we go.
Fuel is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Thank you. You too. So we're going to wait for the hand signals. Can we move this? We can. How do you switch this on? No idea. Alright, so he's off that way. I'm happy with everything that is currently set up here. I'm actually going to go ahead and set up a pre-select for the next for our next VOR, which is going to be 113.75, which is the next one I would like to pre-select. So that is that done, and I probably would want to do that on there, to be honest, but I'm just writing it in there so I do not forget. And then I think actually there is another one I need before that. There would be, I guess I would need, coming in from Daventry. No, we should be okay. It's not 4 Charlie that I'm after, or it's 1 Charlie that I'm after. So he's gone, he's done his hand signals. All we can now do is switch on our taxi lights, and it says landing lights, but it's also taxi lights, I believe. There we go. I did want to check this, didn't I? Does that work? No. Ah, that's a shame. That is a shame. That works. What if I do that now? No, it doesn't. How do I switch this off? There you go. Oh, it's one of those that... There you go. Ah, we have... Okay, so we have landing lights and taxi lights. So taxi lights down, landing lights up. Awesome. Right, let's go ahead and... take this to where it needs to go. So we're going to see if we can take off with this aircraft right now. I think it's probably worth me doing the takeoff in this video as well. It's very quiet inside. It's just a standard sound. There isn't much else. I want to make sure this is set on nav, not our nav, for what we are doing today. Also, as a double check, if you press this, no alarms, that means that we are good. Our configuration is good for takeoff, so we'll go ahead and prepare ourselves. As I said, we're just doing a short run today, so once we've taken off, I will probably once we're on our way to Daventry, I will probably go ahead and end the video. So once we've done the turn, and I'll see what we have, and then we will pick it up in the third part, where we will bring ourselves in to Heathrow. So everything else looks to be set up quite nicely here. We're going a little bit fast, that's fine. I'll just ease back on the throttles right now, doing 22 knots. It's not too quick, about 20-25 miles per hour, which is again not too fast, 45 kilometers per hour, thereabouts. Aircraft's got fairly nice handling on the ground. It is a little quiet. I was expecting to be able to hear a little bit more of the engines, but I suppose that's okay. We can even switch the fans off on the flight deck. There we go. That might allow us to hear a little bit more of the engines. That's not too bad. Cabin fans can probably go off as well for now. And everything else seems to be good. We can do a recall on these. Nothing. That is switched on. That is correct. Everything looks good there. I see no problems here. I see absolutely no problems. I think we will turn here at this next taxiway junction. Is this Whiskey Alpha 3 onto? Yep, that's Whiskey. So we'll turn from. Otherwise, we'll go all the way down to Alpha 1, all the way to the end. This aircraft does not require the entire runway. So if it doesn't require the entire runway, why use the entire runway? Now we're going to hear one of our add-ons saying approaching 27. any second now. Well, she isn't going to tell me anymore.
Approaching 27.
And then it's going to say on runway 27. Throttles all the way back to idle.
On runway 27.
We are now lined up on the brakes, set the parking brakes, and now we will go landing lights on. Come on, there we go, landing lights on, strobe lights on, and let's take a look outside. So, nice bright landing lights, really nice strobe lights. These have always, I much prefer these kind of strobes to any other kind of strobe like that I've seen. Any modern strobe light. These are the kind of strobe lights I really like to see. Let's go ahead and I'll probably get some more pictures at a later time in a replay or something, but for now I just want to grab one of these like that, because that really does look nice, and I think we should be ready for takeoff. First takeoff in this
on
aircraft.
Runway 27.
Yes,
on
quiet.
runway 27.
Yes, quiet. I know I'm on runway 27. First takeoff in this aircraft. Ensure the rudder trim is set properly. Everything is set. I am happy with everything here. Autopilot. We will engage afterwards. I do not see any problem at this point in time. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I think there comes a reflection. It does take a little while for it to load up. It's nice and smooth on the frames though. Once everything's loaded, I think we are good to take off. So let's go ahead and do the takeoff. Let's double check. 1 nautical mile, turn 225. Climb outs. Got to be above 3,000. So if I go for a 2,000 foot per minute climb, we should be okay. Set that 9,000. Everything is good. Okay. I think I'm good to go. Now you'll see this. Watch this. I'm going to put this right the way up to maximum.
TMS sets
watch
takeoff.
that person as well talking.
Power set N1 achieved.
Watch this. It goes up to 999 and now everything rolls
Speed
back.
alive, both sides.
Checked.
80 knots, cross-checked.
Cross-checked.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate.
V2.
Positive rate. Gear up. And we are up and away. That was a very, very smooth takeoff. I have to admit that was really, really smooth. Flaps can come in. Keep an eye on this. So we're looking for 1 nautical mile on that. And we will keep the climb. Now let me see what kind of climb do I want to keep. I think 15 degrees. That is the kind of climb I'm after. I'll bring the throttles back just a little. That's 1, and I will go heading hold, autopilot engage, and VS mode as well. See if this, we're slightly off, but it's not too bad. This is not too bad overall. I will bring that slightly down actually. Okay, we're still climbing. This isn't too bad. I think our climb is a little bit too much though, so just going to disable the vertical speed on that and bring the nose down. Okay, maybe not. bring the nose down manually. There we go. That is a little bit better. Do not need a fast climb, and we're going to bring the throttles back a little as well. This aircraft does pick up speed rather nicely. I'll bring that nose down. What speed are we doing? 203 knots. Really do not want to be going too quickly, so we'll bring that down a little bit more. 5.5, that's good. I will hold. Let's bring this down to 7.5 degrees as we continue climb. There we go. Vertical speed. Bring that up. Let go of that. 6.6. Vorlock. Let's turn the aircraft in. Let's see if this works. We're slightly too far, but it is not bad for the way I'm actually having to fly the aircraft at this point in time. I think that this is actually really. I really like this. There we go, and it's going to bring itself onto the right track anyway. 219, 220, we'll bring that back. I believe I'm now supposed to press this sync button, so I'll press sync now, so that all of these should synchronize to that first one, and that looks pretty good to me. And I can just bring the throttles back myself. That was not too bad at all. And of course we are climbing up to 9,000, which we are well within our bounds to do. As you can see, we are going to be climbing up to 9,000 the entire way. So at this point, I think I'm going to... Wow, that really looks nice. Let me just get a decent screenshot here of this aircraft. There we go. And at this point, as I said, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to end this video. So yeah, I'm going to end the video right there, and then we will continue with the rest of it later on. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on X-Plane 11, and of course the last part of the review for the 146 Professional from Just Flight. If you do want to pick this aircraft up, please do go to the link in the description for the Just Flight website. That is where you'll be able to pick this aircraft up. It does cost £55. So far, I will be honest, it is actually very, very much worth it. It is really, I really do like this aircraft, and I do like what Just Flight have done with this aircraft. So I would so far recommend it, but of course if you want further insights, please do join me for the next parts where I do the descent, the approach, the landing, and then give you my final impressions. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/ecgadget. Your support would be massively appreciated. It would really, really help me out. And also, you can find me on social media at ecgadget, LP for both Twitter and Instagram. That is all from me, and I will see you next time in X-Plane 11 for part 3 of the review for this really nice aircraft. I just wish that was clean. I have to think about having aircraft nice and clean. Yeah, that's the only thing. Anyway, I will see you next time.